Have you ever pondered about the economic relationship between India and Sri Lanka? How has it evolved over time, and what does the future hold for these two South Asian nations? To answer these questions, let's take a step back to the late 70s. Sri Lanka, being the first country in South Asia to open up its economy in 1977, led the way in economic liberalization. Fast forward to 1991, and we see India following suit, beginning its journey of economic reform. As the years rolled on, India emerged as the fastest growing major economy in the world, boasting a favorable demographic dividend that has become a significant economic advantage. A young, vibrant workforce ready to drive the country's economic engine forward. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka, despite its early start in liberalization, has frequently sought assistance from the International Monetary Fund. A stark contrast to India, which has managed to steer clear of IMF assistance since its economic liberalization. But the history of economic ties between these two nations isn't just about their individual journeys. It's about the intricate interplay of their economies, the ebb and flow of trade, and the shared opportunities and challenges. The past has set the stage, but what about the future? What potential lies in the economic integration between these two nations? Imagine the possibilities if India and Sri Lanka were to strengthen their economic ties further. What could this integration look like, and how could it potentially benefit Sri Lanka? Let's dive right into the potential benefits of closer economic integration. First off, technology transfer could be a game changer. With India's rapidly evolving tech sector, Sri Lanka could tap into this knowledge pool, fostering innovation and creating a tech-savvy workforce. Skills transfer is another important aspect. By harnessing the combined expertise of both nations, Sri Lanka could elevate its industries and build a skilled workforce ready to compete on a global stage. Next up, the flow of investments. With increased economic integration, India could become a significant investor in Sri Lanka, stimulating growth in sectors like infrastructure, manufacturing, and services. This influx of capital can drive economic development and create jobs, boosting Sri Lanka's economy. Now, let's talk trade. Strengthened ties could lead to increased trade with South India, a region that's geographically close and shares a common language. This could open up new markets for Sri Lankan goods, helping to balance its trade deficit. On the topic of logistics and air travel, Sri Lanka could develop its hubs to facilitate smoother trade and connectivity. Investment in Sri Lanka's ports could also see a boost, enhancing its role as a strategic hub in the Indian Ocean. What about energy, you ask? Well, a potential game changer could be the connecting of the national electricity grids of the two nations. This could secure Sri Lanka's energy requirements at a cheaper price, and even allow Sri Lanka to export energy to India, generating foreign exchange. Clearly, the potential benefits are vast, but what steps need to be taken to achieve this level of integration? So, what is the roadmap to achieving this economic integration between India and Sri Lanka? What agreements and policies could play a pivotal role in this process? Well, let's start with the Economic and Technical Cooperation Agreement, or ETCA, between the two nations. This agreement stands as a potential game changer, primed to boost trade, investments, and the service sectors of both countries. By fostering a more integrated economy, Sri Lanka could attract larger Indian investments. This influx of resources and capital could stimulate the creation of new job opportunities, facilitate technology transfer, and foster skills development. Imagine the possibilities. A Sri Lankan worker learning advanced techniques from an Indian firm, an Indian investor seeing the potential in a Sri Lankan startup, or a service company expanding its operations across the pulse trade. Indeed, the journey towards integration is filled with opportunities, but it also requires strategic planning and concerted efforts by both nations. As we look towards the horizon, what does the future of economic relations between India and Sri Lanka hold? The potential for a more open Sri Lankan economy is immense. This openness could lead to a natural economic evolution where less competitive industries might close, making room for the birth and development of new industries that hold a comparative advantage in the global market. This isn't just about survival, it's about thriving. It's about harnessing the dynamism of the Indian economy, learning and growing together. The future could see an increased flow of technology, skills and investments from India to Sri Lanka, leading to a vibrant and more robust Sri Lankan economy. India's significance as a neighbor and bilateral partner is undeniable. It has demonstrated its commitment to Sri Lanka's economic well-being, stepping in with aid during Sri Lanka's economic crisis. This shows the potential for a relationship that's not just about trade and investments, but one that's based on mutual support and shared prosperity. In the end, a closer relationship with India seems to be a promising path forward for Sri Lanka, unlocking a future of shared prosperity and growth.